We look at our nation and we wonder, how do you fix this nation? And how can you change what's happening in D.C.? And how do you make Granbury a more godly place? Or how does the church grow? It always boils down to the most basic of units. And one of the most basic units is the family. So we say things like this: as goes your family, this family right here will go this church, because that family will influence other families. And as goes the families, goes the community. And ultimately, in Washington, D.C., the men and women who will be making the rules a generation from now are children right now. They're in families. They're learning things.
It all begins at home. Learning about God, learning about His Word, learning about Christ, learning about life and love and meaning and purpose. It all goes back to home. So tonight what I want to talk about is that if we want to give our kids the best chance possible to live a life full of faith and to finish the goal and reach heaven, it all goes back to home.
And one of the new terms that we're never going to forget is the term essential. Well, you know what's essential? Godly men. Tender warriors. Men who are going to take up that shield of faith and not let it go, because there is so much at stake.
Well, Paul has two lines of thought going: Christ, relationship with the church, in which we learn about a husband's relationship with his wife, the kind of love and unselfishness that's required. That Jesus gave himself for the church, for her good, and that's the way a husband is to be for his wife. Marriage requires love and unselfishness and hard work, but it holds the greatest potential for happiness and fulfillment in this life. We'll do what God has set out for us to do and design in the marriage relationship.
And the pressing need of our generation is having a greater desire for holiness. If we're going to have a genuine faith, we've got to know the Lord personally and have a passionate desire for holiness.
It's not just that we want them to know facts. It can't end there. We don't want them just to know the story. God didn't give us the Bible just to make us smart sinners. God gave us the Bible to give us information that would result in transformation. That is my goal. It's not just for my kids to know a lot about the Bible. My goal is for them to be able to take this information and to live it, to be able to walk it off the page.
I just hope that our families are learning how to have Christ-centered conversations with people, debate the things that matter, and the kingdom of Christ is the only thing that matters.
That if we want to pass on a genuine faith to our children, it needs to be genuine in us, and we need to be communicating it in what we say.
He said, choose for yourselves today whom you will serve. It might be the gods that your father served beyond the river. It might be the gods in whose land you're now living. You choose who you will serve. But for me and my house, we'll serve the Lord. Thousands of gods today are served by parents and thus by their children. The God of wealth, the God of entertainment, the God of sports. Our gods today may be mental instead of mental, but they take the place of God and they control people's lives. It happens all the time. I want my children to know my unequivocal decision to live by what Jesus called the first and greatest commandment, to love the Lord your God with all you are, with all your heart and soul and mind.
Brothers and sisters, take up the shield of faith. Fathers, take up the shield of faith. And remember what Paul said in chapter 6 and verse 4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. Trust in God's way when it comes to raising your family. When we trust in His way, we will be successful. So many times the devil wants to hit us with these arrows of doubt. God's way, it doesn't work anymore. It's 2020. Don't believe that for a second. Trust in His way.
What if you, not your children, not your spouse, not your parents, what if you decided to start having intelligent conversations that were the product of your own daily connection to God? What do you think that would do? Everybody would change. All your conversations would change. Your dinner table conversations would change. But it starts with you.